Chair recognizes Mr. Crane from Arizona.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to say thank you to the guests for showing up today. Since I only have 5 minutes, my first question is going to be a yes or no. Does D.C. have a crime problem, Mayor Bowser?
Any crime is too much crime, Mr. Crane, but we're trending in the right direction.
Sorry, just yes or no?
It's not a yes or no question.
Okay. Chairman Mendelson, does D.C. have a crime problem, yes or no?
There is more crime than we want, but it is significantly
All right, I'm moving
less.
on since you can't follow the instructions. Attorney General, does D.C. have a crime problem, yes or no?
One crime is one too many. We got to keep working at it.
Mr. Jackson?
One crime is one too many, I agree.
Thank you.
What you just saw in that opening snippet is exactly why this hearing matters. When Representative Eli Crane steps into that room, he's not playing political games. He went straight to the core issue. Washington, D.C. has a crime problem that leadership refuses to confront honestly. Watching the mayor, the council chairman, and even the attorney general struggle to answer simple yes or no questions tells you everything about the state of accountability in the nation's capital. This isn't complicated. Residents deserve safer streets. Visitors deserve confidence that the capital of the United States isn't among the most violent cities in the country. Crane's tone was sharp because the situation is real. When leaders dodge, minimize, or redefine the problem instead of addressing it, the public pays for it. If you care about public safety, transparency, and calling out failed leadership wherever it exists, stay with me. After we watch the full video, I'm breaking down exactly why Crane was right to press them, what the numbers really show, and how DC's leadership is actively failing its people. Make sure you like this video, subscribe for more Capitol Clarity breakdowns, and drop a comment telling me your view on the exchange.
Chair recognizes Mr. Crane from Arizona.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to say thank you to the guests for showing up today. Since I only have 5 minutes, my first question is going to be a yes or no. Does D.C. have a crime problem, Mayor Bowser?
Any crime is too much crime, Mr. Crane, but we're trending in the right direction.
Sorry, just yes or no?
It's not a yes or no question.
Okay. Chairman Mendelson, does D.C. have a crime problem, yes or no?
There is more crime than we want, but it is significantly
All right, I'm moving
less.
on since you can't follow the instructions. Attorney General, does D.C. have a crime problem, yes or no?
One crime is one too many. We got to keep working at it.
Mr. Jackson?
One crime is one too many, I agree.
Thank you. Do you guys know where D.C. ranks amongst U.S. cities in crime, Mayor Bowser?
In what category?
Crime rates.
You would have to be more specific, and I don't
It's okay.
have a list
It's
of
okay.
other cities.
You guys
or
actually
states.
rank number 7.
Okay.
So you're in the top 10 of most violent cities in the United States, and this is, as other members have pointed out, our nation's capital. A lot of people come here. And Mayor, I know you, like many of my colleagues have already mentioned, you got a very tough job, and we all appreciate that.
It all depends on how you crunch the numbers.
Hold on a second. I didn't ask you a question.
World Report didn't
Has
place us in
crime
the
gone
top
down?
25.
Hey, hold on a second. I'm asking the questions here. Has crime gone down since the president deployed the National Guard and other federal agencies, Mayor Bowser?
I already mentioned, Congressman, the numbers during the federal surge.
So it has gone down?
It accelerated, yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mendelson, you said in criticism to the National Guard being present in D.C., you said that they looked bored. I'm going to ask you a question, sir. Would you rather have National Guardsmen standing posts around D.C. looking bored but driving down crime, or continue to be ranked in the top 10 in the country in violent crime?
Well, as I was trying to say, depending upon how you look at the data, we don't even place in the top 25. Now, in my testimony, I outlined
That's definitely not the
ways.
reporting that I've seen. You
Well,
guys are
US
ranked,
News
you
and
guys are
World
ranked number
Report.
7.
U.S.
You guys
News
are
and
ranked
World
number
Report,
7.
you can see that study.
All right, moving on. Councilman Mendelson, did you vote with the rest of the city council to defund the police by $15 million in 2020?
I don't believe that's the correct amount, but I did vote
Yeah, you
for the
did.
budget then.
You did. Okay, Councilman, did you call the police in July 2025 because of a protest outside of your home?
I called 911.
Okay.
It was at midnight. In fact, it was 12:30 in the morning.
Right.
And it was a
Okay.
number of individuals who were actually breaking the law, the Residential Tranquility Act, with how loud they were.
Okay, so you voted to defund policing by $15 million in 2020 with the rest of the council. This is what the police union, police officers had to say about your interaction
I know what
with
you're
the
going to
police.
say, and I've already said
Yeah,
to Mr.
well, I'm going to
Pemberton-
say it, so you're not going to interrupt me. Over the weekend, Chairman Mendelson called the police because there were peaceful protesters at his house, because he decimated the police department with horrible legislation, and our staffing has now 800-plus vacancies. There was a delay in responding to his home. Because of the delay, Chairman Mendelson called and screamed at OUC and MPD staff. There is now a permanent security detail at his home staffed by an MPD officer who should be handling more important matters. We currently have 3,100 total sworn members, the lowest in 50 years, and we now have to dedicate one of them to be a security blanket for a man who hates cops, while other people calling 911 for real emergencies will have to wait. This nonsense must end immediately. So that's what the police department had to say about you in
police
that
union,
incident.
not police
The
department,
Yeah, the
sir.
police union. The union that
I'm aware of
represents
that
police
statement,
officers.
and it's false on
Do they
numerous
represent police
points.
officers, Mr. Mendelson, the police union?
It's the union
Thank you.
president.
Okay, Attorney General Schwab, do you agree that all legal measures should be on the table to combat crime and lawlessness in the city?
I do.
Okay. Then why historically has the D.C. Attorney General declined to prosecute crimes? According to media reports, D.C. declined to prosecute crimes in 67% of arrests in 2023 under AG Graves. The D.C. quarterly clearance reports from your office show a similar trend in 2025 through Q1 and 2. You are only prosecuting 53% of gun-related homicides, 50% of sex abuse cases involving a knife, and 37% of non-fatal shootings. There is also an ongoing investigation into if the D.C. crime data was manipulated under Joe Biden so that historic level of crime didn't look as bad on paper. And I look forward to the outcome of this investigation. Now,
Mr. Crane, if I can
going
answer
back to your
can I answer your
initial
question?
answer, is that doing everything you can to protect the city?
The statistics that you just read are the statistics not from my office, but from the federal U.S. Attorney's Office. The prosecution rates from the Office of Attorney General have been in excess of 84% for violent crime over the last 2 years. So the statistics you rely on to malign my office don't come from my office. They come from the federal U.S. Attorney's Office.
So you're prosecuting all of these crimes, is what you're saying?
The jurisdiction of the Office of Attorney General in the District of Columbia is to prosecute juvenile delinquency crimes, and last year we prosecuted more than 84% of the violent juvenile crimes that MD brought to us. We prosecute every violent crime where we have sufficient evidence to meet our burden of proof. Kids need to face consequences and be held
agree.
accountable, and we are doing that. The rates speak for themselves.
Are you in support of moving the age of minors here in D.C.? That's one of the bills that we have this week.
The residents of the District of Columbia, the 700,000 of us who live here, know more and care more about how we're going to make our city safe than anybody else.
You didn't answer my question.
The residents of the District of Columbia and their elected officials do not believe we're going to make ourselves safer.
Why do you think the rest
by
of the
church.
country? Why do you think the rest of the country considers somebody at 18 years old no longer a minor? Yeah, what is it here in D.C.?
The age of anyone younger than 18 is a juvenile in the District of Columbia, just like the rest of the country.
Don't you guys consider people that are 20, 25 and below minors?
I think you
And the gentleman's
misunderstand
time's
the law,
expired,
sir.
but feel free to answer that, General.
Well, I think you're misunderstanding the law, and I think you're referring to the Youth Rehabilitation Act. But in our city, youth younger than 18 are treated as juveniles. The Youth Rehabilitation Act involves a totally different set of adult defendants in criminal cases and involves a different issue that the city has confronted. And I think that issue has been conflated in some of the laws that this body has put forth. And I really wish we could have had a conversation beforehand so we could have explained better what the YRA does relative to all of the other laws that we have in our city that we're working every day to help drive juvenile crime and violent crime down. Thank you.
So you support the Youth Rehabilitation Act? I think that was the question, one of the questions he was asking. You support that?
The question was whether or not
Do you support the Youth Rehabilitation Act? That's part of what we're
Mr. Chair, we're
repealing.
2.5 minutes over.
Okay, all right. Time's expired.
Now that we've watched the full exchange from beginning to end, the picture becomes even clearer. What Representative Eli Crane did in this hearing was expose a pattern of avoidance, deflection, and structural weakness in DC's approach to crime. His questioning was direct for a reason. When leaders refuse to say something as basic as yes, we have a crime problem, it signals a deeper reluctance to accept responsibility. Crane asked the mayor, the council chairman, and the attorney general the same question because he wanted to establish a baseline. Instead, he got evasiveness, qualifiers, and even arguments over definitions. Meanwhile, DC ranks 7th among the most violent cities in the country. These officials should be the most informed. The fact that they either couldn't or wouldn't acknowledge it underscores the complacency he was calling out. The exchange with Chairman Mendelson was especially telling. Crane asked a simple question about National Guard presence reducing crime. Once pressed, even the mayor admitted the numbers improved during that period. Instead of owning that reality, Mendelson drifted into disputes about different ways to crunch the data. Crane's frustration wasn't performative. It was the natural response when policymakers dodge facts instead of fixing the crisis. Where Crane really hit the heart of the matter was in calling out the inconsistency in Mendelson's own behavior. He voted for a budget that cut police funding, yet when protesters showed up at his home, he called 911 and allegedly berated the officers who were short-staffed because of those same policies. The police union statement he read wasn't political theater. It was a candid snapshot of what happens when leadership undermines its own law enforcement capacity and then demands special treatment. Crane's point was simple. If DC residents have to deal with slow response times and unsafe streets, elected officials shouldn't be the only ones insulated from those consequences. The confrontation with Attorney General Schwalb added another dimension. Crane highlighted alarming statistics about declined prosecutions, only for Schwalb to push responsibility onto the U.S. Attorney's Office. Whether that distinction holds or not, Crane's broader point remains. Somebody is failing to prosecute violent crimes in the nation's capital, and the people in charge seem more focused on shifting blame than delivering justice. The final exchange over the Youth Rehabilitation Act showed exactly why Crane was pressing so hard. Schwalb's explanation made clear that the system is complicated, convoluted, and built around abstractions rather than results. Crane's question was grounded in common sense. Why are violent young adults treated as minors while residents face escalating crime? Instead of a direct answer, what we got were lectures about technicalities and frustration that Congress would dare to challenge DC's policies. Throughout the entire interaction, Crane served as the stand-in for every citizen who has watched crime rise while leaders claim it's trending in the right direction. His insistence on straight answers wasn't combative for the sake of performance. It was an attempt to force accountability onto officials who seemed determined to avoid it. This hearing mattered because it stripped away speeches and exposed the truth. DC has a serious problem, and representative. Eli Crane showed exactly what happens when someone refuses to let officials hide behind vague language, shifting metrics, or bureaucratic excuses. If you want more breakdowns of hearings like this and want clearer context behind what you see on Capitol Hill,